Officer Nick Soley joins us now on the MegaCast. He's the Community Relations Officer over at the Bloomfield Township PD. Great to have you with us, Nick. And I will say, Officer, you were not the one sleeping on the job.
I'm not. I tried to get her ready for the interview, but
Oh, come on, Maggie.
I'm not quite sure. So we'll wake her up here in a second. And Ronnie, I do apologize. If I'd have known that you were going to be doing the interview today, I'd have worn the pink suit
Oh,
again.
come on.
See, I was just telling Tyler about that. I do think I did you a favor, though, by not posting that video again.
I do appreciate that.
There she is. She's awake. Hi, Maggie. Oh, my gosh. I just want to go give her a big old puppy hug.
Well, anytime you want to come in, Ronnie, come in and see her. She's here every day with me, so she gets her exercise and playing with all the fun people around here. And I've never seen so many big, manly, scary police officers melt on the floor with a little puppy, but it's been happening quite often here these days.
Isn't it great? So again, we should kind of do an official introduction to Maggie, although that's not the name I voted on. So the Bloomfield Township Police Department, you now have a therapy dog, and she's a puppy, so she's still in training, just like officers go through training. She's going to go through training as well. But what is the purpose behind getting one of these cute doodles?
Yeah, so it's multi-purpose, really. Birmingham Police Department was probably the first in Michigan to have one of these therapy dogs. Chief Clements over there introduced Bella a few years ago. And they're just so useful in day-to-day tasks with the police department. So we've put in a proposal, and we're going to use Maggie in multitudes of different ways, but most importantly, community engagement. You know, she's going to get out there with the community, and that's big. It's no secret what happened this last year. To be able to have people want to approach us and talk to us and start that conversation. And if we have to use a cute puppy to do that, that's what we're going to do. As well as she's going to be able to really help victims and our witnesses and, people that have been through a traumatic event. To be able to sit next to a dog like Maggie, who's going to let them pet and cuddle and give licks, hopefully bring down some of that tension and some of that trauma, so we're able to speak to them. And even on top of that, our first responders, right? Our dispatchers, our police officers, our firefighters here in the township, they go to some pretty horrific stuff. And they see some pretty traumatizing things on a day-to-day basis, or they hear it over the phone. Our dispatchers giving CPR instructions over the phone while someone is suffering. To be able to take that adrenaline and bring it down to a healthy level, and using Maggie to do that is really going to do wonders, I think, for everyone's mental and physical health here at the police department and our first responders all throughout Bloomfield Township. So she's going to be busy, that's for sure.
She's going to get so much love. And I will say, because we do know that they've been using dogs for therapy for years. They use them over at the library for kids to help them to read. We use them at hospitals. So it really is surprising that it's taking so long for some of the police departments to really join in on this effort. Oh my gosh, she is so darn cute. So how do you guys go about picking a dog? Where do you get her from?
So we were pretty set. Chief Langmeyer has a golden doodle at home. I myself have a golden doodle at home. So we know their breed, we know their temperament, and they are very good with people and other animals, which is a big requirement for service dogs and especially therapy dogs. So when one of our friends up in Sandusky, Michigan, had a litter available, where we said, now's the time. It's now or never. Let's do this. As you guys know, things in government move slow. This wasn't one of them. We had a proposal in on Thursday morning, and by Monday we were driving up to Sandusky to look at the litter and pick a pup. And we knew that it was going to be my dog. She'll stay with me. She lives with me. She goes home with me. And I was just drawn to Maggie. So that's how we picked Maggie, and that's how she ended up here in Bloomfield Township.
So, with that, though, we should note that having a police dog with you is a big job. People think, oh, it is this cute dog and they're your friend and this, that, and the other, And Nick, I don't know if you remember, but I worked for ATF, and ATF has their explosive dogs, and they always use labs. And one of the reasons being that labs are very people friendly as well, because if you have a big German Shepherd, no one wants to come up to you, right? I mean,
right. And we saw that here. We have our two canines here. They're both German Shepherds. And the folks on shift that work with those dogs will tell you they're just the friendliest dogs in the world, and we play with them. And but that's not their purpose. They have a goal, and their goal is to work. So they can't have that community engagement. They can't be that cuddly friend. So.
But with that, like with the ATF dogs, and again, they're working dogs just like your German Shepherd dogs, but their other purpose is community engagement. Because I will tell you, it's like a people magnet. I remember going with George Goodman and with Bonnie, who was the chocolate lab, and then we had another one, Jax, who was this big black lab. He was just old and lazy, but Jax would let me dress him up and everything. So, of course, I'm their PIO. What am I going to do? I'm going to dress the dog up. I put that thing in so many costumes and Halloween, and they were like, stop, they're a working dog. And but there's a lot of work that goes into these dogs because they're not just a member of your family, but there's a lot of training that goes into it as well.
Yeah, there is a lot of training. We're very fortunate here at Bloomfield Township, not only to have one canine, but two canine officers. And then on top of that, one of our canine officers, Officer Angela Carlson, is a master trainer. So she spends time at the canine academies. She trains dogs. It's in her blood, right? She spends more time with dogs probably than people, and she's very good at what she does. So she is going to help us tremendously. We've already sat down even at 8 weeks with Angela, and she's going to start working with Maggie and with me, because she doesn't just need to train Maggie. She needs to train me to train Maggie, right? Because it's a skill that you have to keep up with. You can't just train at work for an hour and then go home. We have to continue those good behaviors and those reinforcements and continue the training. So really, Angela has to train me and Maggie now to get her where she needs to be.
Are you a little nervous though, because she's a puppy? What if she ends up failing your training?
That's what my wife asked. I said, well, it would be an early retirement, I guess. But we're confident Angela will be able to get her there, and she's going to spend a lot of time with us. And when she does get through that basic obedience, she does go off. She goes to another trainer through Off Leash Canine, and they will work a lot of therapy specific tasks and behaviors with Maggie, whether it be applying pressure to an individual or simply placing her head on that person's lap. When they're too distraught to actually pay attention to Maggie and pet Maggie, Maggie can almost pet them. It sounds weird, but she can, put that pressure on that person or put her head on their lap and give them some comfort in the time of need. So her behavior is so far so good, and we're confident she's going to do great.
I know that it's only been a few days, but what's been the reaction from the public?
The public, I can tell you, Ronnie, my email box is full, and my voicemails are full, and everyone wants Maggie at their next event. So she's going to have a lot of HOA picnics to go to, and a lot of fun walks and charity events and the senior center. And you can already see the impact she's having on our community. They want to meet Maggie. They want her to be a part of the event, and that draws in the police. And that's huge for us. We're very community oriented here. We try our very best every day to humanize the face of law enforcement, right? We're humans too. We have emotions. We're normal people. And I think people seeing the love that we have for this dog when we go to the events shows that sign as well.
Because it does help bridge that gap. And it's needed, I think, even more so now, because we know there's so many people that are so hesitant. Oh my gosh, that face. I just want to love her. I'm a crazy dog person, Officer Soley. So if she comes up kidnapped, I don't have her. Don't check my house.
Oh boy.
We'll have to schedule a date for puppuccinos, I think.
Exactly. See, you must follow me on Facebook to know how many puppuccinos I go to.
Boy.
Trixie just got her first puppuccino after her surgery this weekend, and she was like in doggy heaven.
Of course.
So, with that, too, because can we talk a little bit about recruiting? I know that you do more community side of the house, but that involves trying to attract people to the law enforcement field.
Absolutely.
Are you struggling with recruiting just like pretty much every other law enforcement agency?
Yeah, I think every law enforcement agency is down officers right now. We're looking for their next batch of officers, and we are seeing that wave of retirements, right? A lot of these officers get hired in together, which means they retire together. So we have openings coming up. We'll be trying to fill 4 spots, and I'm on our recruitment team, and we're going to get her out there and try and help with that to bring people in. But it is difficult, and we have a higher standard here at Bloomfield Township with our requirements of the bachelor's degree and a lot of the things that we look for to work in our community. It is tough right now. We're going everywhere and anywhere where they'll let us go. So that means police academies and college campuses and job fairs, and we're looking for lateral transfers, but every department in the state is. So it's really a big competition right now on who can get the best officers to sign for their department.
I will say a bachelor's, that's pretty tough. Even ATF, I think we were the only federal agency to accept people with only associates. But they had to make up with it with so many years of experience. But it is tough out there and trying to recruit. And what's it been also in the middle of a pandemic where you haven't been able to go to those regular job fairs?
Yeah, so I mean, how can we spread our message? We can't go to those job fairs. We can't go to the academies in person. Some of the academies weren't even happening. You're sending a flyer, and we're getting feedback from the director of academies, and we're talking as far up as the UP and all the way over to Grand Rapids. We're sending flyers, and they're telling us, we'll put your recruitment flyer on the back board, but just so you know, there's about 25 other ones back there. So how do you stand out with just a flyer? So we think Maggie's going to help us stand out once we can get back in person. And we have some other tools and tricks we'll take with us, and I won't share them in case any other police departments are listening.
So we had the new chief of police for Southfield on the other day, and I mentioned Maggie, and then of course we had Officer Pulsifer from the Troy Police Department, which that story went national when they got the police cat. I said Southfield needs to step up its game and get its own animal. I suggested a baby goat or one of those little baby pigs.
Dispatch here throughout a llama. They were talking about a drama-free llama. So if any other departments are looking at llamas.
That's a good tagline right there. Drama-free llama.
No, this isn't, it is new. It started in Ohio in 2017. They were the first to bring a therapy dog on staff at a police department. And then, of course, Chief Clements in Birmingham with their therapy dog. Rochester City just announced their golden doodle just before us. I can promise you that these police departments didn't see us post it and are stealing it. This has been in works for a while, and they're all jumping on board, including us. I've been getting phone calls from Ann Arbor and Canton and all over the state. What are you guys doing? What's your policy look like? What did your pitch to the board look like? We want to do this. We've been trying to do this. We've just been waiting for someone to help us out. So we're all working together in this to try and make this a regular occurrence within police departments, that it's no longer a huge story that a police department has a therapy dog. It's just an everyday natural thing.
Again, we're talking with Officer Nick Soley from the Bloomfield Township Police Department. He's their community relations officer. And with that, is Maggie sleeping again?
She is. She's sleeping on the chair next to me. So
I
should have just left the camera on her. I'm sure no one wants to see me anyways.
What's her badge number?
She doesn't have a badge number yet. We're going to wait till she gets some training under her belt, and then we'll get her officially sworn in. So
she's like, stop bothering me. It's sleep time.
Like, swear in. I'll do it now.
So, Officer Soley, I will say I need to borrow your guys' trainer for our dog, Trixie. We've already spent a couple $1,000s on Trixie's training, and she was a rescue. You never know where rescues come from.
Sure.
I hear you.
I'm surprised the dog is still with us, but she was a foster fail. Sure. She's quite interesting. Let's just say that. But she's getting a lot better. She's great with dogs. She just doesn't like people that much.
Yeah, and Maggie's fortunate. She goes home. Maybe she's jealous. I don't know, but she goes home every day to a brother and sister who are at home, and they get to sleep and relax all day, and she has to come to work. But the three of them are getting along great. So
it's so great. And we should mention, too, because I know, at least with ATF, their dogs are considered a member of the department, and they do have a badge, but they go through retirement as well. Like, will she have to pass a test like every year or every few years to remain on the job? How will that work? Because she's in a different capacity as a therapy dog.
Yeah, so in that capacity as a therapy dog, our policy will state that she is required to be therapy certified. She can't do that until she's a year old. So they don't do any certifications for these puppies until they're a year old. So really, we have 9 to 10 more months of training before we can get her certified. And then once we get her certified, she'll be certified. She'll be working. We'll be able to take her in the capacity of a therapy dog. Until then, she'll still be doing our community engagement with us, and we'll be a little more cautious because she's not fully trained. But then she'll stay certified, and as long as she stays certified and healthy, she'll continue to work with us. Until she no longer wants to get in the cruiser to come to work. So she'll continue that certification, and there's going to be a lot of refreshers for that training. She's got to keep up on that.
So while we all look at her as the cute, fluffy side, there's a lot of work that goes into it as well. So enjoy the journey, though, Officer Soley, because it's a lot. They're so cute, though, but dogs are a lot of work.
You forget, my dogs are 8 and 4 at home. My 4-year-old is a rescue, my 8-year-old. So it's been 8 years since I had a puppy at home. And I don't know if you guys can see through the Zoom, the bags under my eyes, but there's not a lot of sleep that goes on with an 8-week-old puppy. She doesn't want to go to bed for the whole night. So thank gosh I have my wife at home who's been very supportive in this, and she's helping take Maggie out and getting Maggie ready for work. So.
Has she peed in the chief's office yet?
Oh boy.
She has. And I joked with Officer Carlson, again, our K9 handler, and I don't think we've had a dog come through our department, worked here, that has not used the chief's office as a restroom. So it's tradition, and it's kind of like a welcome to the force type thing.
We like that. It happens.
I don't know if we like that. It's interesting.
We don't like it, but it definitely happens.
I think it's funny.
It's thought-provoking.
Hey, well, it's been so great having you on, and thank you for bringing Maggie, too. I voted on the name Rosie.
Yeah, that was a very close second.
But she looks like a Maggie.
Yeah,
she's kind of like a Maggie Rose right now, I think.
See, you are a good officer. Look at that. Way to come back. Oh, hi, wake up.
Hello, Maggie.
Wake up, baby girl. Oh my gosh. How many treats do you give her? Has anyone been dropping off cookies and treats and everything for her?
No treats yet. We are on a strict Cheerio diet. So we're doing a lot of her training with Cheerios. That way I can continue to reinforce that good behavior without getting her too chubby for work or getting her sick while she's here at the station. So a lot of Cheerios for her.
See, we actually make our dog's food, and it's she's on a raw dog food diet. And let me just tell you, I don't recommend it because for one dog, it takes like about 8 hours on a Saturday. So I couldn't imagine trying to do it for 3. But they say it extends their life a long time, and we've never had a big dog before. So anyway. Hey, officer, we so appreciate your time. When Maggie's making it through her training, always come back, or any other time, or if you want to break out the pink dance suit and show us some moves the next time, we're open to that as well.
Maggie might be my partner next year. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh.
So anytime you guys are in the area, stop on by and say hi to Maggie or say hi to one of our officers here at the station. We love having people, and we'll show you around. Appreciate you guys having me on. I
will say, if you do another Dancing with the Stars, you put her in the program, might bump up your score.
Just a little.
Anything will help, Ronnie. After last thing, I think anything will help. So.
No, you did great. You did great. And so people know he was in the Dancing with the Stars that raised money for charity, and he did great. So, again, thank you so much. We always appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.